Hello and welcome. I did steal that line from Dom. But welcome to Let's Join Out this week. I don't even know what day it is, 26th of April or something.
27th, close enough.
I've lost a day somewhere. Where has time gone? This week we're joined by Tony, Tonstar1.
Bonjour.
We've got NJ who's back in the house after a little break. Welcome,
Hello.
NJ. Hello. We have someone lurking in the background, I think, at the moment. Andrew, who hopefully will be talking about. Hello, we'll get to you shortly. And a man who has another show out there on YouTube, Carlos from the Carlito Show.
Hello.
No pressure. How you doing, Carlos?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
I know, it's a pleasure to have you on, actually, as a fellow YouTuber. Because we were just saying before the show, we did start off as an original radio show. Yeah. Migrated to do this weekly, every week. So, yeah, it's good to have you on. How long you been having, because you do a show now 2 days a week, I believe.
Even more, 3. Well, I have the Carlito Show, which is like whatever craziness I can think of for the
Dogs
current video.
Whatever, anything goes.
Whatever happens. And then I have the like Shut Up and Fly, because a lot of people were like, oh, I don't want to see you talk, and other people were like, oh no, I want to see you talk. So trying to get everyone happy, I made like a kind of playlist, which is like Shut Up and Fly, which is just me flying. The guy actually told me like, shut up and fly.
So, I mean, that's a lot of shows then. That's a lot of content. You have a job as well, I'm presuming. So.
Yeah, a job as well. And then I have a live stream on Saturdays and reviews every now and again. Yeah, it's too many videos, man. I had like 1 video, and now it's like 3 or 4.
I mean, we have our own NJ here, who's a very good content producer, you know, always putting regular content on the whole stuff. And
I try.
It's tricky, you know, to keep up with and keep people interested, but still it's good.
Yeah. How's that Revo build going? Is that happening yet?
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's in a long line of other drones that are currently awaiting building. I have at least 3 others. The one that's pressing at the minute, I have to get the new Beast Stretched X built up. So I'm just waiting on some Emacs whites to arrive for that. And then once I've built that up and done my review on it, then I will be focusing a little more on getting that Revo racer together. But I've been looking at some very interesting aerodynamic research, which leads me to think possibly differently about some of the aerodynamic decisions made on quadcopters, some fluid dynamics papers and bits that I've been looking at, which, yeah, I'll get to it when I've done some more reading. But it sounds
heavy.
Yeah, it's made me go cross-eyed very, very many times. But
can you put on spectacles and have a stick, maybe with explaining it on a blackboard, and you can point to different things we might not understand, but.
Yeah, don't worry. I don't fully understand them either, because they get very, 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 very complicated. But it's it's interesting to see the airflow behavior around certain shapes and understanding the boundary layer, because air is very sticky, it's viscous, like there's a fluid, and how laminar airflow moves around low pressure objects and separates from the boundary layer and creates all these vortices and wake and. Yeah, it's interesting. So I've been looking quite heavily into more of this. I understand a little bit of it anyway, but I've been doing a bit more in-depth reading. So yeah, I'll get back to that when I've got a less boring, long-winded version of it.
All this is born on the whole fact of the Revo then, and the aerodynamics of that, and is that
I could certainly highlight things on that and on especially on other quadcopters that are very very interesting in terms of. I mean. That so much of quadcopters is just anti-good airflow anyway, and it's just a giant. It's just forcing its way through the air. So there's not a lot aerodynamic about a quadcopter, no matter what you do with it, really. But there are certain elements that could be put into designs that I think could make things perhaps. And I mean, the biggest focus really is prop design will help them the most. But there is a reason why you can put a 1300 milliamp 4S battery on a wing and fly it for 40 minutes, and why you can put it on one of our quadcopters and get 2 minutes out of it. Aerodynamics plays a big part in that. So yeah, it's very, I find it all absolutely fascinating.
Okay, well maybe we'll have to have a little science spot once you've condensed it down to layman's terms that we might all understand.
Yes.
Or maybe, Carlos, you know what? You need a science show now to cater for people like NJ. There are people like that that get to the really nuts and bolts of everything of the flying stuff. So, yeah.
Why use aluminium screws instead of metal screws? Because 2 grams. I'm a bit more of a realistic, and I break things like there's no tomorrow, and sometimes I can fix it in the field with a stick. So based on that concept, my science is like more practical than actually knowing what the hell I'm doing.
Build, crash, fly, repeat.
Yeah.
Well, I believe you've been to the UKDS, which that environment itself, you have to tell us about it, but that doesn't look very forgiving for quads. If you crash, you're gonna have breakage, especially when you're racing around.
Yeah, and especially on a race, when you're on a race.
Yeah.
And you crash, you kind of don't care even about the condition of the quad. Like if you broke a prop, even like half a prop, in a normal day you wouldn't keep flying. But if you're in a race, you'll try anything to get an extra lap. Like no matter how bad that's gonna be for your quad.
So how long have you been racing for now then? Because I know you've been at the Nationals, and I know you've done a few other events, and it's for quite some time now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think 2 years now.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken.
So, I mean, Tony, you've been how long now as a comparator? You know?
2 years as well, but I haven't done any proper races yet. I've just been mucking about with my mates, basically. We've done no real racing as it were. Until we go to the mini air show next weekend.
Yes. Yeah. Are you signed up for a team then, Carlos? Or are you doing any racing there?
Yeah. I've signed up for a team and the like individual events, freestyle, and there was another one. I don't remember.
Are you going as Carlos?
Well, I'm sure Andrew could tell us in a moment.
Are you going as Carlos, Carlito, or Borat, or one of your characters, or all of them?
Yeah, one of my many characters.
If anyone doesn't actually know Carlos, actually, it's usually quite interesting to see persona of the day, whatever he dresses up as. I mean, it's everything from LEG to a big flight suit with a helmet and everything, isn't it? I mean, it's really quite fun to see. Yeah, I mean, but we actually.
It was just. Yeah,
it was interesting to find out that you were at the first ever International Drone Day event, which is the first mini air show down at the school. It was just at the school, and it was blisteringly cold conditions. But
it was, and
there was one quad that stood out from everyone else's, and it was a little quad. I can't remember what it was, but it had a little Cartman on top of it, Eric Cartman, and it turns out it was yours. I only just found that out tonight. That's amazing.
Yeah,
memorable.
I thought it was funny to make a sign that said, "Screw you guys, I'm going drone." So it was helping, like a little sign on a Cartman was holding a little sign that said that.
I think it was still on there. I don't know if I think I tried to snap a few pictures of it, but that was year one. Year two, one of the highlights of that whole weekend was you up there with the Mayoress or the Mayoress of Brighton and Hove, fist bumping as Ali G, the Mayoress. It was such a brilliant moment.
That was in a second. I had the outfit in my backpack, and I was like, should I take it out for the freestyle? But then things were moving so fast that I just didn't have time, so I just went for the freestyle. And then it turned out I won, so I was like, no, this is too good. I have to take the outfit out and go as LEG to beat the mayor. I honestly didn't know I was gonna beat the mayor. And then when I got there, like, oh, it's the mayor. Hi. And she was so funny because I'm guessing she understood because she held my hand like this, like they did to LEG in the movie.
I'm not gonna go to do what you do, but I'll acknowledge your fist bump. Yeah. I mean, there's no pressure for this year then. I mean, this is the third you've run now then. Any no. You can go and concentrate on racing actually, because one thing I always remember is the nationals and how much actually nerves and stuff can play on your ability to control quad. Have you got any tips for people that are coming up to those sort of nerves for the first time this year, maybe even at this time?
Practice as much as you can. A lot of people told me a lot of weird things.
Yeah.
Drinking to taking drugs to to other bad things. Don't do any of those. Just relax. You can. So this is basically the fight or flight instinct that your body has. It expels massive amounts of adrenaline, and basically there's nothing you can do about it unless you train for it. And the more you get exposed, the better you'll be at managing this feeling. But yeah, listening to music seems to help a lot, because obviously you want to get as abstract to your surroundings as possible. Breathing helps a lot. So I've even tested like combat type breathing to get rid of the adrenaline faster. But it comes down to you're more and more exposed to these races, and at some point you'll.
It's a really interesting thing, that, because I've always been a big freestyler and I don't really do the racing thing. But the last video I uploaded, we went and set up a track and had a go. And the first thing I found out, because I've not really been exposed to that, which is something you're exposed to an awful lot, was that my legs started to go. I could feel my legs going. I'm like, right, this is why everyone sits down when they race, because as soon as the adrenaline kicks in and you're trying to beat your lap times, it's like I've no control of, like, I call it Elvis leg. Literally, just your whole body starts going, Christ, what is this? So yeah, I can see that's something that's a big part of the racing thing, is learning to control your adrenaline, and yeah, I get it.
and you can expose yourself to situations like this even on freestyle. Like, for example, if I go in freestyle in a place that I haven't been before, and it's kind of dangerous for the quad, so a place that I possibly might lose the quad, I will like over water or somewhere that you're just not confident, like a huge tower in the middle of nowhere. You kind of feel the same, and you start, your hands start shaking, and you can even hear the props shaking from the quad, because basically so it's just exposing yourself more and more to the situations until your body learns that you're not gonna die.
Yeah, it'd be interesting actually. Is this going to be your first official race then, if you manage to make it down to the show, Neil?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely need to get some more practice in, experiment with the setup a bit. But I'm up for trying, see how I do. Just as much as Tony's been up for doing some freestyle, I can't be a hypocrite. I have to give the racing a go.
I would say, okay, my experience from last year, which is the drone show, was my first ever official race. And actually flying around on 25 around hills and all these other things, swamping the frequencies and all sorts of just general, not the best, I didn't even have the best receiver set up. Learning to fly through static and fly that way is probably also a bit of training that I want to do before next week, because we can have our perfect setups in our flat fields with no other interference, no hills, on whatever power that was set, which is officially 25 and always 25.
But races today have really improved more. Like, for example, I've been racing on UKDS, as you mentioned earlier, and you'd think because it's indoor and there's a lot of concrete through, it's going to be terrible, and a lot of metal structures through is going to be terrible. But actually, no, it's most people have perfect signal, because today also there's new components that help.
The newer VTX things, because I've seen a few of the straight FPV feeds from there, and okay, there's glitches as you expect, but it's viable.
Multipathing is the biggest sinner in those environments, but
you could protect that against on the walls, couldn't you? You could have dampening materials on the walls if you did it properly. The absorb radio. So, how many times have you been there, and what's your? Do you want to give a mini review then? How you found it?
Two.
Because we all wanted to go. So.
Yeah, I mean, for a place that you can just like, not talking about the I-Series race days, because it's an open place that you can go at any time you want. It's pretty big. Is the first thing that you notice. The race course is quite tight, so you're gonna need a few practice laps in order to get the gist of the course. Yeah. But yeah, there's a big space for the pilots. It's not like most races where, I don't know if you guys been to many races. Well, probably Tony has. But whenever the pilots get there, you have like this tiny little space to set your quad, and then you have like massive amount of people just laying everything about. And here at least they have enough space that you can sit comfortably in a table without having.
And do they have things like soldering irons, or if you need to make repairs? There's obviously bench space, but do they have the tools there? Or
I'm not quite sure, because whenever I go there for a race, I just bring my own stuff, so I never bother to look. But I think probably they might have something like that.
Yeah.
They even have simulators on site that you can, if you want, you can go and practice the course. Well, so they, I think it's Rotor Rush. That's the simulator company, and they do the exact track that you're gonna race in the I-Series, and they release it like a few days before the actual race. So that helps a lot. Like if you're a pilot, that's definitely one of the things that you should do, like practice the track on the simulator just before you go flying.
Do you know, that's a really good point. I think that's probably the one thing that always, when I look at the indoor events, especially where you have these tall like upper and lower gates, and you do half the circuit up on the upper side and then you come down the lower side. I can watch 5 or 6 laps and still not understand the circuit. So I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, I think these organizations, when they organize these events, really need, if they can, like a couple of days before, to get something to the pilots to make the race more fluid and successful, with people not going off track trying to learn it.
But that's something very interesting, because if I'm racing, like if you set me on the track and I'm racing the track, it's pretty, I can understand how the track flows quite fast. But if I'm watching someone fly the track, just especially on YouTube, like sometimes you see those guys flying the track, I'm like, how does this guy know where the hell he's going? And people have said the exact same thing on my videos. Like for me, I'm doing like the track feels natural and fluid to me. But when I watch it on YouTube afterwards, it's like, Jesus Christ, how do you even know?
That is interesting. Yeah, I wonder how the psychology of that works.
Yeah, so when you're racing, it's much easier to understand how the track goes rather than just watching someone else race.
Maybe that's when you're in the zone. You committed that to your mental function, having you? That's when you lose the point of your legs, maybe, in a race. I don't know. That's interesting.
I have a question from
Special Chaos. If anyone's going to Portugal for the Iaria race in June,
I'm actually, I don't know if the viewers know, but I'm actually from Portugal.
No.
And
does that mean you're going?
I know the organizer because I've been there for a race before, and he keeps messaging me to go. So I might go to Portugal to race there. Yeah, I'll definitely like to.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see something like that.
I've seen quite a few videos from Portugal because Bruno, I think, is from there.
Yeah, Bruno is. Yeah, he goes back quite a lot, I think.
Yeah. In fact, you two had who won that competition? Who won?
Oh, Bruno did.
Oh. Did you get a runner-up?
I went easy. Yeah, well, there's only 2.
Well, now you need to.
He's good at flying, though, isn't he?
Yeah, tip it the other way, and now make him do a race.
No. I've been training more and more freestyle, and the objective for that challenge was obviously to promote each other's channels.
Yeah.
So yeah, and YouTube is all about collaboration. So if you just do your own videos and you stay on your own corner of the world, you're not going to be able to grow much. But if you start collaborating with other people, and I thought that the type of like challenge was a good way to to like promote
to collaborate. Yeah, no, it was good actually, and it's interesting when you can link to two different YouTube channels, because usually it's a related video that links you off to something else. So if it's flying, well, it could be a random person around the world that does a flying thing, but at least if it's tailored linked, YouTube does show more content based on that from the association. So
but I want to challenge Angie for sure.
You know, it's quite interesting. Actually, everyone that's spoken so far on tonight's show has a YouTube channel. It's probably had a YouTube channel longer than they've even done the show and things like that, and probably maybe even longer than they've been flying. But Andrew, I don't know. Do you have a YouTube channel, Andrew? Are you still there?
I do.
I sub to Andrew. He releases one video a year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just after the drone, the mini air show. Is that right?
No. Pretty much, I do it when I've done something new and have a video. But yeah, I don't get a lot of flying, so I don't spend a lot of time editing either. So I haven't. I did, like, when I went over to France, I did a video. When I've done some whooping over winter, I did a video of stuff from that. But yeah, I just think I don't have a fancy GoPro or anything, so I don't have any fancy video, so I don't bother editing a lot.
And actually, let's be fair, you're so busy doing so many other things anyway. I'm surprised you even have any time to
yeah. Like Saturday, I managed to fly around a gate for the first time this year. So I'm like, yes.
Around a gate or through a gate, just to be clear?
Well, through a gate. I spent like 3 hours flying. The first hour I was just smashing into gates, and then I managed to actually relearn to how to fly through a gate again. And gradually got smaller and smaller gates.
Well, maybe you could try some breathing exercise and stuff, and maybe that'll help you. Actually.
Yeah, I think actually I just need to fix one of my, because I was going back to one of my old quads that has no power, and so you kind of, if you slightly ease off the throttle, it just nosedives into the ground. So keeping a straight and level through a gate is quite hard on that one.
Well, actually, a little while ago, we joked about having some techniques to help Tony in his race circuit this year, didn't we, Tony? I think we're going to do some waterboarding to Zen meditation and all sorts of things. Yoga, who knows? Anything goes.
I like the waterboarding bit.
Well, I think that'd be like a fear for your life. You might actually race even better. I'm planning all these different ideas.
Foot massage while you're racing.
But yeah, I suppose that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's mental preparation for these races more than actually.
Music.
Yeah, music. Okay, this is top tips actually. Are you racing next week, Andrew?
No, I will not be racing.
Will you get to fly it all next week? Maybe you could open the proceedings.
I'm sure I will bring quads down and I will find some time to fly them at some point, but I'm not going to be taking part in the racing just because we need too many people to be doing other things, and everyone obviously wants to race. And anyway, if I can barely do a gate, then I'm just going to be a waste of time.
So you know what? A few weeks ago, it felt like it was so close, but I didn't get excited. But it's like just over a week away now. I'm getting very excited. What's been happening? It is next week, next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's slightly terrifying. I'm sure it'll be brilliant on the day, but it's like last minute, loads of things. So there was a call for new volunteers. Do you still need any volunteers for? If anyone can spend time on the next week Friday, if you can come down and give us a hand setting up the course and that kind of stuff, we would be very grateful. If anyone's got time, can spend some time, I'm sure people will be around, but helping on the actual event, I'm sure we'll need hands running things about and stuff. That that would be very grateful.
I'll be there.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, and Andrew, who's designed the track? Out of interest.
So Rotor Racing have designed the track.
Right.
Are they open to library?
Well, they haven't drawn it to scale at the moment. So I think it will be a case of, if you come down and help build the track, then you probably have a fair influence on exactly how big different bits of it are going to be.
And you also
let's make it massive.
as many times as you want. Make it so you can fly it with a wing as well.
Yeah.
No, don't. I'm sure it's a headache enough, actually. So, is there any more spots for? There's no more spots for the team registration. Is that right?
I haven't checked it recently. Or there was still 2 spaces, 2 team spaces, I think. But it might have changed since then. I haven't looked in a while. I've seen people are still signing up and buying tickets and stuff. So I imagine there's at least another 2 teams on the way, or at least 1 team on the way. So
awesome.
There's probably still 1 team space out there if anyone still wants to get in on the team racing. Otherwise, there's still the freestyle. There's still be solo racing while the freestyle's going on. There'll be the whooping in the barn. Yep. Yeah.
The cars will be well on that straight away.
Fingers crossed. Velocidrone will get there. They'll be hopefully pushing out something so that we can get some simulators going on site. We've been pushing them and nudging them, and Fraser's been offering his knowledge of all things back-end simulatory. I don't know. It's beyond me, but apparently there's a good chance that we'll have Velocidrone simulators.
Great. Excellent.
How is Fraser?
Yeah, so Fraser's doing all right. He's absolutely championing on. We've been like, if you need, do you want to maybe stop? And he's like, no, I can do this. So okay.
I thought the term of putting on a show, which is essentially what it is, mini air show, was break a leg, but he's sort of broken his shoulders, hasn't he? Fraser, if you're listening in, or even if you're not, I hope you're getting well soon.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, look after yourself.
Well-being, yes.
Yes.
It should be a good event. So let's hope the weather holds off for it. But even if it doesn't,
a few days ago, and it said it was going to be like 18, 20 degrees, bright sunshine, and then
it still is.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that. That's all we need to know.
I'm not looking again. I don't know.
No, you didn't
tell me anything differently.
It's going to be fine. Carlos, do you bring in your any night flying stuff like you did to?
I can, yeah.
Oh, please.
You flew a wing.
Oh, that was really good. Yeah, at Sumner's. Yeah,
the night wing going off and exploring the what was it, like kites in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can bring something for sure.
I'm thinking about. I got given it. Sorry.
It just gets super cold at night. Like when you're flying, you start freezing. Maybe I can fly from the tent.
Maybe fly next to one of those gas torch heaters.
Yeah. Good idea.
As in, that's the pilot's circle, direct to the and only if you're flying or due to fly can you go in that circle.
Yeah. Good.
Another good reason for us to build a track with fire gates.
Yeah, well, that's the.
Just pour petrol over all the gates.
I think that's for a summer event. That might be for a summer event. But some plan.
Because
let's do an LDO one.
A night course.
A night course.
Like a night track. Yeah.
LEDs are possible.
It's not. You don't even need LEDs for the gates. There's something that people always think, like they go through the hardest route, which is like, oh, LEDs over everything. You kind of just need little bits of LEDs in the track and a little torch pointed at the gate. That's it.
Oh yeah, to light it up. Yeah.
Will be light up, and you kind of just need it on one side because the other side won't.
Does the dog go as well through the night gates as what it does during the day gates?
Definitely, the dog is relentless. He loves the quads, and he knows what it is. Like when we're flying on the field, and like it's the dog walker that comes with a ton of dogs. Yeah. That dog gets free from his leash and just runs to us and sits and watches us and if I like grab a quad, he's like, go for it. And if I put the quad down, he's like, and then he starts looking at Rick, which is Rick often flies with me, until one of us goes up in the air, and then he just like runs like mental back and forth in the field that we're flying, like shouting at the drone. And the dog walker comes by and is like, "Oh yeah, I told the owner to buy a drone because he loves it. He just goes crazy over it." And then when we land, it kind of just sits, and the dog, the person that's taking the dogs for walking, is trying to get him, and he doesn't want to. He just like runs away, like always looking at us, like just waiting. Go.
That's cool. It's funny, isn't it? Some dogs, I'm sure we all know this, that some dogs have absolutely no interest in the drones, and others just love it. You know, just won't relentlessly chase it for the full 3 minutes.
Dog exercising, yeah. And they're the ones that don't like, don't have a fuss about them, because it means that they.
So, Carlos, let me ask you this: what's your current build? What any new favourite things you've added to it recently, or have you been running the same build for a while?
My build. I don't know if I can show this. The pile there. There.
Wow.
That's a drone pile. There's more laying around.
The pile. That's good.
No, that's just a pile. Yeah.
Where's the graveyard?
The graveyard. Well, I kind of have like a couple here on the side to rebuild, but there's a few drawers that are the graveyard where all quads come to die.
What's your favorite? You got a favorite flight controller or ESC motor? Anything that you think always goes in your builds? You've noticed, or has it changed a lot?
Yes. Well, lately I've been using the Betaflight F3. Just because, so I'm a big user for TBS Unify, and you can connect the Betaflight F3 flight controller directly to
the Unify.
To the Unify, and just change the channels through SD.
Yeah, smart audio. Yeah, it's very useful that. Yeah, and it's nice and low profile, that board.
Yeah, and it has a PDB included, so all my race squads now have that, because it gets easier to change during the race.
Excellent. Yeah, I must give one of those a go. I think I might be putting that into one of these quads that's being built and try it out.
But I have a big problem. I'm going to admit it online. That's the first step, right?
Yeah. But actually, there's a few things have been announced, but not your problem. So please.
Oh, well, my problem is I have too many quads, and I always build. I build 2 of each, always, like whatever it is, like two micro quads, 2 night quads, 2 freestyle quads, 2 racing quads, 2 everything has to be in 2s, because I found so that means that something is always needs to be repaired.
Yeah, that's good philosophy.
You know, there is someone that shares your same philosophy. His name's Clinton, but hopefully he's got
Clinton's like 3 or 4 of every quad, isn't it?
Well, no, that's because he replaces a couple. It ends up 3 or 4 total costs. But no, I guess when you're buying parts, I think fair enough. A frame and a build. Do you actually build 2 whole ones, or do you just buy the bits to build a whole?
Yeah. No, 2 whole quads. Yeah.
You build 2 whole.
I think it really makes sense for racing, though, doesn't it? Because
the racing will be
downtime you can't afford. You know, you want to plug in the next one and go. So,
I would say for freestyle events, if we had freestyle events, but no.
Yeah. No, I have 2 freestyles as well. Yeah, 2 freestyles. I have 3.
Is there any drag racing at the mini air show?
We haven't planned anything, but I'm sure there could be on the Sunday.
As in, I think you can. In fact, Martin from Fossil Stuff has a speed camera, doesn't he? Maybe arrange something for the Sunday. The possible by.
He doesn't have a speed camera, or he has a speed gun.
So actually,
speed gun. That's it.
Clinton contacted me for this exact thing.
Oh, you got one.
Drag race. because I have one, and mine is rigged because once it's very important because why don't you want to do a drag race?
Because you have to stand there and have drones flying at you at high speed, and that's not good.
Who wants to be like, oh my god, please don't kill me?
Yeah.
So I tied a servo to my speed gun, and I can just like remotely. Beep.
Well, maybe we should bring your one then.
Yeah. I mean,
what we should do?
Asked me to if I could bring it, but then he didn't ask anything else.
What we should do is in that case use your servo-triggered speed gun, put it on a giant inflatable doll, but its head is a big gate, and you have to fly straight through the head of this giant doll with the speed gun. I've got it all sussed out in my head. It'll be brilliant.
You don't want to do that, dude. I was testing. So I like to test a lot of things, and the latest thing I was testing was how fast do your quads really go. And it was incredible, really. I got really different results, like something like this. This is a 4-inch quad, right? And it has silly motors from E-Motors 2,500 kV, but it's only at 1806, and it runs only 4-inch. Now, how fast do you think something like this could go?
What kV is it doing, and how much does it weigh?
2,500, and it weighs 200 grams, but it does 4-inch.
Yeah, I mean they can scream, can't they? What kV?
80.
What kV?
2,500.
2,500.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
88 miles an hour, and then it disappeared.
In a trail of fire.
Yeah.
Oh no, it deafened everything and shattered windows as it screamed, and it just obliterated.
It actually doesn't scream that much, but I was curious to find out that this goes faster than my racing quad. So this little thing goes at 92 miles an hour consecutively, not just once, 92 miles an hour.
Well, there'll be a high power to weight on something like that, and there'll also be less drag, being slightly smaller and smaller props. The props create a lot of drag vortices, so that's probably a lot to do with it. But maybe that's the future of the fast racers. Go for the small 4-inch and.
But then this ultimately brings back the class size, the size of the class that you're flying in, because a gate at that size is much easier. You can scream towards it and turn much later.
You're 92. Have you ever flown at those speeds?
No, I'm just saying. But
you're holding on for your life. You don't. There's a gate. You're like, oh, gate by. There was a gate there. I think I saw it. I'm not quite sure. It's just
Sean
to keep the quad straight.
He's just flown a 3-inch very, very fast and beat most 5-inch quads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I mean, the 130 I have, it's not as if the lap times on that are miles behind the 5-inch quads. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, there probably does need to be some real class separation, because they all have their pros and cons that make them unique enough to stay within their own class. But it'd be good to see that. You're going to bring that with you to the show, Carlos. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, I can bring one, and I have an even one with even sillier motors, like 2205 motors, running 4-inch. It's crazy, and that one did 98 miles an hour. With 4-inch. But it weighs like 230 grams, which is silly for a quad. Paperweight.
They're saying 250. They're saying 250 is the best weight. 3-inch with 41,000 kV, 850 milliamp hour 4S battery is the new king.
That is the one that sold me. Exactly that specification, Tony. And I kind of just didn't even care about 130s to the point where I was sent a 130. This was probably back in November. I was sent one, and it kind of sat on the shelf, and I kept thinking, I've got to review it. I've got to get around to doing it because it's been sent over for me to look at. And I just left it because I thought it was going to be pretty rubbish, and I've still to this day, it is the most fun flying machine. And I mean fun, you know, it's not the fastest, it's not the most powerful, but it is so much fun, and you can freestyle in the tiniest gaps and have such a blast with it, and it handles great. So yeah, 130s I think they're really coming into their own.
You know, when you were building that night and bending the wires around the arms because they wouldn't fit in a certain way, and just, I never thought it'd actually be a stayer for you.
No, it was such a pig to build because they're just so tiny to work on. But because they're that bit lighter and there's such a small amount of inertia in the quad when it hits stuff, like nothing breaks. The props don't break, the antenna doesn't break, nothing. It just sort of bounces off whatever it hits, and then you just pick it up and fly again. So there's an argument, I think, for everyone to own a 130. Like I can't explain it until you get one, build it and fly it, and then you'll come back and say, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a total fun machine.
It's also like there's a dead tree local to where we fly, and it's on its side, so there's lots of gaps and things to fly through. And you can do it with a bigger one, but you can't be as adventurous, and also you don't want to break as much. So actually, they truly have their
yeah, and the other thing I think as well that's good about the 130s, like the one that I've been playing with, is because they don't quite have the same bottom end grunt that a 5-inch propeller will have. You have to be a lot better with your throttle management, and that's a really good thing to learn as a pilot anyway. So when you're coming out the bottom of power loops, you can't just brute force your way out of it, because you won't have the prop size just won't give you the grunt no matter how much KV you're running. It will sink. So you really have to smooth out and work on your throttle maneuvers, and it makes you a better pilot, I think. And you know, there's a lot of pluses to it. Yeah, big fan.
Atto have got some nice little quads coming out. Have you seen any of them?
They have.
I've seen NJ's thing. They look sweet. Have you built yours yet, NJ?
I'm waiting on Mr. iDrone there to send me over a couple of delicious Tornado motors, and when they arrive, I'll do a build video on the 136R. And John, one of the Atto designers, has done a great job with that quad. It's super light, and the videos that he's put up of his build is making me even more excited to build this thing and get it going. So yeah, hopefully fairly soon I'll do a build video and then lots of flight footage on the oh, there you go, Neil's just said leaving tomorrow, mate. No, I'm even more excited. But yeah, great little frame.
What was you going to show us, Carlos?
I've been flying this. So this is an Aurora 90, which lost the motor. Believe it or not, this was keeping up with a 5-inch racing quad.
Yeah, that's a nice thing.
But on straights and turns, it's fine. As soon as I need to like dive, as NJ was saying, it goes.
Yeah, that's where the power or the thrust starts bottoming out. So, but yeah, I just think it's great for teaching you to really smooth out your maneuvers and think about how you're going to approach something, because you've got a set amount of power to work with. So yeah, you know.
But I found that I was racing this on the high throttle all the time. That's probably why the motor gave out. So now I'm building another one.
Was you 4S?
Wow, that's really tiny.
Was you 4S with that?
This is 2S, and it's going to be 3S.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got one of those Aurora 90s, which I've yet to finish, but it's running on 2S. Is that what your one's running on? Or 2S. Yeah.
You can run it on 3S. All the components allow for 3S, but you need to change the motors, otherwise they're gonna
just fry. So are those the 10,000 or the 8,000 kVs?
No, the ones that I have are the 75,000.
Yeah, see, I think that's a better kV. I've got one that was sent to me as a bit of an earlier model, and the components that they gave me the 10,000 kVs, which I don't think is a very good match. It's too high. So I'm expecting the motors to bog quite heavily. So I might strip it down to get it lighter and see if that will compensate. But yeah, it looks like a fun quad.
It is. It's
you know, we've
nice.
got quite a busy chat room tonight, guys. And I feel we haven't actually given any shout outs so far, really. But we've got our regulars of Mr. Thrust Irwin and Striker FPV. We've got GMAC FPV in there, who makes the funny Hitler videos and other ones about. Did anyone see? And this is one of my favorite videos. Was the one that he did with
Yes.
The toast. Loved it. Yeah. Stay frosty. Hobo. We've got Chris in there. There's loads of people. So thank you all for tuning in. We've got Clegger, Ectras. It's such a busy night. Wow.
I haven't even been to the chat.
Look what you do, Carlos. You bring everyone to the show.
I know. I'm a big star. Big star.
No, it's good to have people in there. But...
So, have you still got the boosted ball, Carlos?
Dude,
I do. It gave out on me suddenly.
No, because I really want one of those. They look good fun.
Carlos Neistat, isn't it, really?
Carlos Neistat. Carlos Neistat. I think I have a bit of PewDiePie now as well, so it's like
you're absorbing all the other YouTubers out there.
I'm absorbing them.
Actually, you know, there's sometimes, though, I'll tell you one thing. It's a style and a time for a thing. And to copy these styles and things, they work. They're formulaic of how they work. And people want to see this thing. So it's good. And how are you finding vlogging? Have you always vlogged? Because your older videos weren't so much vlogging.
No, my older videos. Well, the thing is that I really just started proper YouTube. Proper YouTube a few months back, because I I don't know, 2 months before Christmas, I would say. Because before, much like Andrew was saying, you don't really think about this, but when you're posting videos online, you're like, oh, it's just whoever sees them sees them. You don't really care. You just post so you can have a memory of it later on, and then you think, oh, maybe I'll post something and it'll go viral, and then I'll be super well known and everybody will love me. But in real life, things don't quite work that way. And even if you happen to hit a hit, it's very hard to then repeat that formula and keep repeating that formula. So I actually went to a workshop, and the guy that was talking was actually surprisingly good, and he taught me, he showed me, this is like super obvious things that no one ever thinks about, but once you hear them, you're like, of course, I'm an idiot. But these things actually then made me change my channel into something a bit more serious and consistent, and that's why
the Carlito Show.
Yeah, it's not just about the show. It's about being consistent and having stuff that people can watch.
Okay. The thing is, you can actually have many YouTube channels anyway. You can have different ones you can have to start up. Because just to let everyone know, if you want to find Carlos's videos, you can go to youtube.com/seek SEEKND FPV. Is it SEEKND FPV? I think we'll put the chat in the link in the chat room actually.
Yeah. It's upside down. It's the other way around. There you go.
I see. No, is it FPV?
Put a mirror in your screen, and you should be able to.
I gotta get back to that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. But YouTube, and I mean, one of the other famous YouTubers we're still trying to get on this show, and maybe one day, Tom Smith. What do you say?
I can get him on the.
He's gone from one that was actually very entertaining and actually playing into a lot of the camera and things, and quite funny things like holding a picnic basket with a stick. I loved it. But he's then gone to the other way of just saying, I'm just flying, let the flying speak for itself, which I value as well. It's not easy to always know what the audience want and also cater to the audience for what they want.
He shouts a lot.
What, when he's flying?
No, on his vlogs. He's like, yeah, lad! I did a video, and I went and asked him on FPV stances, and it was like, and I had a friend helping me recording them. It was just stupid stuff. And one of the stances was the Tom Smith stance. And when I say FPV stances, like you normally stand up to fly, or sit down, or you crouch, or whatever. So the Tom Smith stance was me on top of it was so dangerous. I can't tell you. I don't know how this guy flies and doesn't kill himself every single time. But it was me on top of like it's like a children's playground. You know those things that the kids climb up. This was made of
jungle gym, whatever.
Standing on top of it, and I was actually flying a quad. And I was like shouting, yeah, just shouting the whole time. And it was so when I finished, like shit, this is mental. Like I'm gonna kill myself. And it was windy as well. So props to Tom Smith for not dying. And I asked him like, are you fine with me posting this? And it was fine.
I mean, his recent videos is one of my favorite parts to watch for the speed aspect of it all. Just amazing.
Yeah. You should do more crazy, like about to die videos. That those really take the.
It's hard to discover up and coming talent these days, though. So maybe on one of your shows you could start featuring the many up and coming names, because you're obviously intermingling with all these sort of people.
Yeah. I raised with them.
Because not everyone wants to put themselves in front of a camera either. That's the truth, or even on a show.
Yeah. Benny especially hard to get on camera.
Yeah.
I was annoying on race, like, dude, shoot something with me, and he's like, ignore.
I'm going. NJ, flying with teams. What's your team name then, Tony? Team Fossil?
Yes, but there is only. Actually, there's 3 Fossil pilots now. We've borrowed someone from our fun day flying. All our pilots are away that weekend. So
I haven't. I hadn't actually told NJ yet. They're actually Team Chameleon now, and 3 of them will be. He's got to buy a Chameleon and build it before next week. They're good frames. They are, but anyway, that's another complete other discussion. But Team Chameleon / Carlos, what's your team? Do you want to give any shout outs to your team or your other members?
It's Team KFC.
I know it is.
KFC. QRC something, Team 3. The power of the chicken. I don't remember what else I wrote.
I wonder if this is going to be a theme.
Sounds savoury.
Yeah. I hope Tom says the whole name. Not Tom. Dom. Sorry. Is he the one commentating? He has to say the whole name. I think.
He sometimes tunes in,
You what?
You might be listening. Who knows?
I think Niall from Rotor Racing will be doing quite a bit of the commentating, so we'll have to get him like a whole list of all the names and be like,
I can just imagine. Yeah, the power of the chicken is coming up.
It's going to sound like a bizarre horse race, isn't it?
Maybe I can take like a chicken suit or something.
Chicken suit. That's what I was thinking. That might be your inspiration and Robert Higgins and stuff.
Oh, I have a McDonald's outfit.
Of course you do.
Like Ronald McDonald, not the worker's outfit. I have like a Ronald McDonald super creepy outfit.
That sounds terrifying.
Okay, so the whole long team name that I've got written down here as entered is Kentucky Fried Chicken KQRC Team 3. The power of the chicken makes you stronger. Be the chicken.
What?
I think that was a fair name.
So
maximum number of characters, yeah.
To squeeze this into the 10 character limit, it's been squeezed down to Cockadoodle.
Be the chicken. Cockadoodle. Oh yeah, Cockadoodle is the
Cockadoodle. That's clever. Yeah, I like that.
It has the word. I don't know if you can say it.
You all just need to wear the KFC buckets on your head.
I wonder how many people armed with this knowledge are going to make noises around you now.
Have you seen the KFC bucket plane that Peter Sripol made?
I did actually, yeah. Where it rotates the buckets.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw it flying.
That's aerodynamics.
Did it fly? I think I got
Yeah,
bored.
it did. It just was very unstable and fell apart, I think. But it flew for like a good half a battery.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
What's ever next?
Was that flight test or something, wasn't it?
No, I think that was just Peter
yeah,
Streepol's his own channel. Whatever that is now. It is just Peter Streepol, I think.
I can't keep up. I can't keep up with all these channel changes and different. I mean, they come up and recommend it even if you don't see them. But
how do they? NJ, you're a successful YouTuber.
I'm doing okay.
What?
He earns millions every month.
God.
Million money showers over here.
Feed the tank of my Ferrari.
He chucks it out the car windows. He's driving along.
What recommendations do you have for growing channels?
Do you know what? It's such a hard thing because YouTube. No one knows the way YouTube's advertising algorithms and networking algorithms work and catchment areas. It's such a tricky thing. I think it's just having some kind of angle. I think that's what really worked for me in terms of kickstarting the channel. So I think the one that sort of took off, sorry to use the pun, is when I started doing my acro series, and I did one that kind of explained a video called Pop Drop Maneuver Catch, which was about the kind of the basics of popping for your first roll or your first flip. And I think that one's at about 45,000 views now or something. That did really well. And then off the back of that, I started doing more of those. And then eventually, as the channel grew, I got offers to send stuff for reviews. And so I think it was about having that one angle. That's what worked for me anyway. And then just being really, really brutally honest about stuff you get for review, because if you say everything that's sent to you is brilliant, people will soon start thinking, let's stop respecting your opinion. So yeah, I think that's it. It's just having that angle, and a lot of the guys with the really successful channels, it's just content. You just got to keep going, because I think I've probably been seriously doing it for about, I don't know, probably a year and a half now, maybe a little less than that, and it's about 104 videos I think now, which I don't know if that sounds like a lot for the time, probably not, but yeah, it was just making sure the content's good and then being regular. Don't leave people hanging for too long without something. So it's pretty boring advice, really, for what's worked for me.
From mine, because I mean, I've had quite a lot of views on mine, probably more both of you put together, as in 1.2 million. But I've only got 700 subscribers. But all
that from naked dancing, unbelievable.
Yeah. You should tell you, there's some good moves. Anyway, no. But what I'm saying is, the most popular ones are how to do something. How to do something. How to are the ones that people want to see. It's an education tool that people will think, okay, so you're like, where you know how to live stream, things like that, how to do certain things, get you more views that people will follow, because they think, oh, there's other things that's going to come this way, or if NJ's other reviews or other maneuvers.
I think there's also the other thing to bear in mind is that, I mean, I see some YouTubers, I'm not going to name people, but there are some out there that clickbait a little bit with like, oh my god, such and such happened on the thumbnail, or or wow, best quad ever ? Stuff like that, where you're sort of clickbaiting people into something that might not actually be relevant, and that kind of annoys me a bit. It does work, but it's, for me, I'm kind of trying I don't really want to be like that. For me, I'm trying to stay focused on being honest and getting content that people will regularly want to come back to. But then again, the allure of having 1 million patron members and lots of ad revenue from YouTube, because we'd all love to be doing this full time. If I could give up what I do and just do the channel, I'd do it in a heartbeat, because it's something I love.
How to do things in the kitchen, Chris over Joe quite rightly pointed out. 1.7 million views on how to fry an egg. How to fry an egg with FPV goggles. That's all
students, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. But I think, like as Carlos said, synergy. Sorry to use that terrible American phrase, but there is something for synergy as well. Just helping each other out. You know, like when I fly with Bruno, I drop Bruno in there and into the video and link channels and try and help people out, and we all do the same to try and help grow it, I think. But that's the strength of the community, which is very unique to, I think, to us as quad people. Like we're a unique bunch of people, and we all try and help each other out, whereas there's lots of other hobbies where the competition causes quite nasty rivalry, but everyone just sort of gets on in our hobby, which is why I think it's
for now
the best.
for now.
Is that a threat?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've never liked you.
Yes, Carlos, you're under my way of thinking.
And that's what I want you to think, is what I meant to say.
No, it's true though. The camaraderie actually to make sure people can fly, and actually, it is actually still quite lucky that exists.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's what makes the events awesome as well. I think everyone just hooks up and shares the experience that we all love, and it's always good fun.
So that's right. The next event where you'll see, hopefully, all of us that are on this call. I think you're the only uncertain at this moment, NJ.
Yeah, I'm. It's looking more certain as we go. So yeah, fingers crossed.
So,
I should be there.
If you haven't bought tickets and you're not turning up next week, why not? You can go over to miniairshow.co.uk and buy tickets there. Even register. I think you were saying, Andrew, for some last-minute events that are still there.
Oh yeah, well there's still the one, at least one team I think, and then it was all the freestyle, single racing, all this kind of thing that'll still be going on way other way.
And drag racing on Sunday.
If you've signed up already, you should have got a pilot pack to
pilot packs are being sent through. You can also get them on the website on the competitions and activities page. There's the pilot pack for the rotor racing event, and also the pilot pack for the freestyle is up on there as well. So that's miniairshow.co.uk, and then click on fly, and there's competitions and activities.
Now, because
is Egg and Spoon going to be a thing?
Sorry?
Is Egg and Spoon going to be a thing? Because that was very funny last time.
Egg and Spoon, hopefully.
That's just an LDO exclusive, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Ektraz was kind of smashed it out of the park on the Egg and Spoon stuff, didn't he?
Well, yeah, on the flips, but Tony's the VEG star.
Yes, he did win the race.
Lap.
Yes, that's
yeah.
right. One whole lap. Yeah.
And a bizarre little twist, I actually got a free egg cheese sandwich from that whole thing as well. Yeah.
I
hand delivered.
Hand delivered. Well, hand delivered, but next time drone delivered, that's for sure.
Drone delivered, yeah.
Actually, we have actually delivered biscuits to Brighton Till I Fly, Jack. I don't know if he's in the chat room this week. I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him either.
It might have been earlier, but yeah, I think we need to do so. We need to take the lead really at Mini Air Show to start delivering food to hungry campers that are out in the field from the scouts. Now, I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know about safety and stuff, but we need to make it happen.
I have a quad that does that. So.
Sorry, what's that, Carlos?
I have a quad that does that.
Are you going to bring it?
The parachute. Yeah, I can bring it.
There is actually, I mean, just so if you weren't aware, there is a wacky build and stuff, isn't there not?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's the wacky build and the tidy build.
Is there any small children we'll be able to carry up on a drone yet, or is that still?
I'm sure we'll find some. They'll be wandering through. Yeah, we'll just grab them, tie them to a quad.
I think the ships down there have had too much stress lately, so we'll just go for humans.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think the tidy build will have to be done at the very first event, because the tidy builds might not all be there by the last event.
Yeah, we've said that. The tidiest builds, that'll be while everything is kind of getting going on the racing, so there's not we're not having to have pieces put back together for that. That'll be the very first thing.
Management, have you got any tips, or maybe in the pilot pack, or is I have to read all yet?
As everywhere, it will be 25 milliwatt race band, so don't turn on if you don't know what you're doing. Make sure that you're on the right frequency. Quite a lot of people are getting Unifies and that sort of thing that've got the pit mode and got smart audio and stuff, so they can deal with that easily. But you don't need the more convenient, but make sure that you can do race band 25 milliwatts.
for any owners of tramps, and that's the VTX, not any other type, are we going to be able to do either ones that are there? Are they going to be able to set them with the one setting?
I have no idea how.
Good question. I don't know. People should, but actually, it is something very stressful.
David, so
it's hard managing frequencies at these events. So you please be able to make sure you can change your frequencies. Also check your fail safes well before you turn up.
Yeah.
And make sure
to check your fail safe. To check your fail safe, because this isn't always clear for people who haven't done it before. Take your props off, number one. Number two, turn everything on, your transmitter and your quads. Get the motors running up, and then turn your radio off.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
If your motors don't turn off, don't stop immediately, then you've done something wrong and you need to fix it before you come to the event.
100% concur. That is the way.
And if you missed that, just watch this episode back again.
Yep.
The Scottish lot are only doing tramp VTXs. They're not allowing anything in their race this season. If you haven't got a tramp, you're not racing.
For which one, sorry?
Scottish Nationals, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
I take the tramp up to Scotland.
I think they're trying to make FPV races great again.
They're just trying to make it easier, I suppose. I mean, it's for the race director just to wave a wand over your quad. I mean, I'd prefer it.
Yeah, I think it's the guys that are running it have had some experience of doing it that way, and it's worked really well for them. So hopefully it scales up well to having lots of people. But
I guess the one thing is, don't rely on somebody else being able to set it, or don't rely on your radio. Make sure you can set it in the worst case scenario without its radio scripts or whatever. But
yeah,
make sure you can set what is there, because sometimes you'll have to swap between VTXs. You may only have a 5-minute window. So if you need to look up codes and stuff, it's a bit too late. You need to have everything ready to change if you come to the races. But most
and don't just think don't think of codes in terms of band and number. You need to know your code. Fatstroke 15740. 5740 is the number.
Yeah, everyone just likes to spread that out, don't they? I'm on 5740. Well, what band is it? I don't know.
Bands and numbers they're meaningless. It's the actual what it is in megahertz. The 5740 is the important bit. Or whatever your particular number is, because a lot of if you look at it in terms of bands, a lot of these will cross over each other. You know, they're not all done out in a big long straight line. They're all parallel to each other, and they've all got set spaces between them, and that's how you have to think of them. So know your number.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing to do is to print it out and just stick it to your battery box. You know, just so you've got it there, so you can look up exactly the frequency.
And if you really can't work it out, make sure you've got someone with you that can do it for you, because the race organizer.
Yeah, I need to bring someone with me.
Well, at least you're honest, Tony. Thanks for being so honest. Yeah.
It's my dyslexia, mate. It just gets in the way.
Nah, that would explain it. So if you do suffer from dyslexia, maybe also find Tony, who'll have somebody else there anyway to help you out as well. And it should be fun. But last year there was a mix of people, and big credit to Road Racing. They kind of had people that obviously they know they were the new pilots by the speed they were going around, and if they missed the odd gate and stuff, they'd still count a lap. It wasn't quite the same, but they were making sure the pro pilots, who should know what they're doing, they were much stricter on governing their race to make sure they're passing through gates and stuff. So the important thing is to have fun, and there will be people that may have never even raced before. Actually, NJ has never even raced before, so go easy on the other folks.
Race virgin. Let's see what happens.
He'll be fine. I've seen him.
Yeah, you'll be fine. I was fine on Sunday. I know.
It'll be the tortoise technique, I think. Keep it clean and make it round the track, and let everyone up front crash out.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget we've got
I've just told everyone.
It can happen. That's not bad.
One thing I can tell you is that when you go into a race, you race at like 30% skill, if that. Like your quad feels like someone has like gone into your quad and changed all the settings, even if you feel like 15 minutes before. Like on the first races, it feels like, what the hell is wrong with this? I can't explain it. Why? I guess it's like nervous.
It's probably the bad vibes. It's the bad vibes, man. They're interfering with the radio waves, you know. No, it'll be fun. It's hair raising, but fun, stressful, and I know there's a few people coming all the way down from Scotland to next week's event.
There is.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of them are even in the chat. So hello guys, looking forward to seeing you next weekend.
Yeah, amazing work. That's quite the drive.
I think they're flying.
Might be quicker to fly, actually. And cheap enough now.
Obviously, I don't know the current. I've never had a problem taking batteries on planes, and even a number of batteries. I always get in touch with them first, but I guess a lot of people are having to find that out the hard way.
Well, I did the whole of Australia in November, and I mean the whole of Australia. We flew literally around all the main cities in Australia. And on the way out, we went through Singapore, so it was four flights there and back, and then all the flights internally. And I had absolutely zero issue. I just had all my batteries in one of those Maplin's cases, a clear case with each compartment, so each battery is separated from the other, the ends taped up. And I also printed out the watt hours, so I could clearly show I'm well under, and you will be even with 20 batteries. Oh yeah, well under. So that's not the issue. In fact, the only thing I got confiscated was on the way back through Singapore. They took the electrical tape off me. That was it, which was a bit bizarre, really, because I don't see how I could take out anything on the plane with electrical tape. I might be able to repair something.
It's like they probably would take zip ties off you as well.
Yeah, but I mean, electrical tape's so rubbish. What can you do with that?
Well, no, you wrap it around the thumbs, and I'm not speaking from experience, but wrap it around. You're not going to get it off. Okay. They're not No, but behind your back, you can, as long as you get the thumbs together and wrap it enough, that's probably dry.
As long as you, what kind of advice is this? The thumbs specifically.
Yeah, generally.
See, that's someone before a race, yeah?
Well, if you tie the shoelaces together, that's one thing. Thumbs behind the back, that's another. They fall flat on their face. I'm not an evil sadistic bastard. No.
But yeah, flying with lipos, most of the time they just don't batter an eyelid, really. It's not an issue whatsoever. Just as I said, on those separate compartment clear cases, and you can take sensible. Yeah, that's it, exactly. Look like you care about showing them you're transporting them safely, and there won't be any issue at all.
And confidence going through airport security. If you don't look confident and sound like you look more suspicious. So.
Stop looking around and
Twiddling your thumbs. Are we going yet? Are we going yet? No.
Some people just look shifty.
Well, because the watt hours though, I think borderline limit when I was taking 3 5-amp batteries that were 5,000 milliamp hour 4-cell.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right for races and a small collection of batteries, is it not? But you can't take lots of batteries. What did you work out the limit, NJ?
I can't remember what it was, but you could probably get like 20 batteries seem to fall under the maximum watt hour rating of what you could take, from what I remember. I mean, I only took about 8 with me when I went out, and that was absolutely no issue. You could easily have taken double that, basically.
Okay.
So
yeah, I wouldn't mind flying somewhere, but I'm going to Spain, and they don't really like him over there anyway, so I won't get to fly in the next long haul flight. Carlos, are you going on holiday and taking a drone anywhere?
No, I went to Mexico, Cancun, and I took a Mavic Pro, but I didn't get to fly it much there. It's very touristy, and you kind of don't want to be. I actually made a video about it, which is like, just because you have a drone and you go on a vacation doesn't mean that even if you can fly it, it doesn't mean that you should fly it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's an important thing that most people just like, oh, I have it and I'm out here and I brought it all the way, so I need to fly it.
I must fly it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I did when I actually joined the Australia FPV forum just to chat with people before I took the drone out and said, look, is there any places I shouldn't, or is there, is the community there? And luckily, I ended up hooking up with Paul and Thomas at BMS Web, which was awesome. and great fun. But yeah, I recently went to Morocco for a small holiday, and although there is a scene there, I was told generally speaking about, well, I'd read a lot of stories of stuff getting confiscated on the way in and by airport security, and I read enough and did enough research to think, you know what, I won't do it on this occasion. So yeah, do your research.
Top pilots in that country.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was too friendly for turning up with drones in that instance. So yeah, I guess do your research before you go. Definitely worth checking.
Cool. Tony's looking like half asleep. You're right there, Tony. You weren't feeling very well.
I feel a bit better. I've had my cup of tea now, so I am tired tonight.
So just as we're all racing next week. This is weird. I just came to realise that we're all going to be racing.
Yeah, you're not my friends. You're not my friends next week.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to have to start trash talking these other two, NJ.
I'm terrible at trash talk.
Come on, give us a line.
I need some kind of long game where I can get in their head.
And Tony.
No, I can't trash talk Tony. He's no. Have a good one, pal.
Maybe after next week. Maybe after Sunday next week we can.
Yeah. You know, however, gloating once winning is a different thing.
Neil's asking in the chat if I've polished my head. I've actually shaved it tonight, so it might look a bit polished. And my lamp's on, Neil. So yes.
Maybe we should assign a shine factor every week. Yeah. How shiny is Tony's head? Well, I don't know. We could keep on going. We haven't gone over for a little while. We've been going for the last hour and 20 minutes, but I haven't actually. Is there any other questions in the chat room? Have you got any questions? Last chance to put them in there before we probably.
Do you have any questions for Carlito? No one ever asked me.
Don't they? Okay, I've got some questions for you then.
No. Like, what's my nickname?
I've wondered. Yeah. What? Okay. What is your nickname? I'm all confused.
Seek and D.
Oh, well, I posted in the chat earlier.
Yeah, but it's actually a nickname that's, I don't know how many years, like a lot of years. A lot of years. Way before. See, my chip code was my first ever internet handle back in Australia, actually, no less. And that's why it stuck. So when I registered YouTube, I got chip code stuff. So yeah, Seek and D. Can't remember when you got it from then. Mine is from when I played Quake many years ago.
Hands up, who's old enough to remember Quake?
Yeah, I remember Quake, yeah.
And
we should have that music, that
Quake 1. Not none of the new ones. And Seek and D is like the shortened version of Seek and Destroy.
Destroy.
Yeah. It was either that or Dr. Doom. So I went with Seek and Destroy.
And that's what stuck now for.
And that's what stuck like over. I can't even remember, like 20 years maybe.
So
1993 or something.
Yeah.
Or even, yeah.
Wow.
Mine was a nickname I got given to me about 20 years ago, probably. Same stuff. So I just stuck with that.
And NJ, since we're all now chatting, because mine came from a comic book that was about mountain biking, and Chipko is the black sheep of the group, and so that's why I chose that one. But it's actually a hippie term these days, so actually I'm really happy with what it means. It was the first tree hugging movement, and I know it's kind of my style. Weird how it later on, not for the time I chose it. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, mine was just because I didn't know what on earth my YouTube channel was going to, because it was so random. There was all RC stuff, and then I was doing some stuff on. If you really want to look back further deeper into my channel, you'll see a video on starting up the startup sequence and operation of the A10 Warthog, which I know how to start up and operate, because I was have a strong tie to aviation and yeah. So I just put NJ Tech because it was all kind of techie things I was into. But then, much to my demise, I'd get no end of people saying, "Hey man, whereabouts in New Jersey do you fly?" Which I always reply, "Yeah, I'm nowhere near New Jersey. Bit of a swim to come and see you, I'm afraid. But yeah. But the NJ Tech, as in New Jersey Tech, they've never sent me a letter, so I think I'm all right to keep it that way for now.
You'll be fine, man.
Yeah.
Striker's telling us we've got to do 24 hours, so I'm going to get another cup of tea.
Okay, here's a plan.
No,
hold on, I've got an idea for that. Maybe we do it in Scotland, which would be good because then we can get more people incorporated in it. But also then you can also potentially go through in the height of June, maybe June to July, it would go all the way through. So maybe one to think about more after mini air show, as we could do a Let's Train Out special up there. But trying to fly that 24 hours and stream the whole thing.
That will be hard.
What will happen is we'll get drunk after the first hour, and then it will just be someone like that.
I'll be like that. Like it's red wine, I'm gone. It's 12 hours of sleep.
I know. There's quite a few people that are up for that challenge. I think Ectraz is up for that challenge. I'm always up for stupid challenges like that.
24 hours. I wouldn't want to do it on my own here. I'd have to or come to yours, Jay, or be together.
Yeah, you need people there. You need to eat the right food.
Yeah.
Carlos doesn't drink coffee or caffeine, do you, Carlos? Very commendable. But how would you survive overnight? Do you need sleep?
Cocaine?
No, I'm good.
other amphetamines and stuff?
A little bit of cocaine.
No, well, we're standing up for that striker. I'm not even in this chat room anymore. I keep on being in and out. Have we got other questions before? Who's coming up here to Scotland?
The mini air show. That's we got an anthem. Drone anthem of some kind.
Well, we sung one at the.
Yeah, I was going to say we should get Johnny Banton to take centre stage and sing something.
Well, it was Rich last year. Rich, Anarchy FPV last year. He was playing the guitar and we were singing songs. It's on one of my YouTube videos. I started singing. It's actually quite funny. It's where were we, Andrew? It was the finals, wasn't it?
Yeah, the British Championships, yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun singing that all night, but couldn't fly the next morning because I was pretty paralytic the night before. But yeah, hopefully round the campfire, Rich is going to bring his guitar again. So if you want to join us for a sing song, we can make a song up about that. Rich, maybe you could bring your guitar as well, when you
I think also at some point it usually deteriorates into drum and bass. Well, not deteriorates, it moves on to drum. It's going to be quite a musical night usually on the nights, isn't it? From live music.
Yeah, we'll have a fair few speakers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You'll all be my mates again in the evening, all right?
Sounds good. Excellent. That was a very good show. It's great to have you on, Carlos. And
thank you for having me on.
Proper chat. Yeah, you'll have to come back, definitely. And
we'll have to get you on a live stream next weekend.
Yeah, we need to all do lots of live streaming, I think, next weekend. That's going to be. I don't know I can't remember what the signal's like down there.
You have to stand.
Horrible.
However, you have to stand near the right-hand corner of the barn in the corner, and you get a 4G there.
Right.
I know exactly where you get 4G.
You need one of those mobile cell towers, don't you?
We have got some fairly fancy internet connection devices to get streaming from us.
Just get a repeater stuck to a drone and get it high enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's something we could use the DJI things for.
Yeah.
So you will get to hear some team squawks or team squawks from Carlos.
Oh yeah!
Come on, let's hear some because that's what I want to hear all weekend.
KFC.
There is a game out that you can actually practice on that. We want perfect chicken. We want to have all the chickens flocking to Team Kentucky Fried Chicken. The package, whatever.
They're gonna hate me because they were like, "Carlos, can you create the team?" And I was like, "Okay."
Next year they're going to.
Are you sure? Yeah. Okay.
Last chance.
They're kind of.
No. Well, Niall, hopefully reading that out is going to be no end of fun. But thanks for coming onto the show. Thank you all to Tony, Andrew for the mini update show updates, and NJ for, as always, good to have you on the shows. It's
pleasure.
For listening in, everyone. And you will find us again, same time, same place, next week. Peace.
Thank you to all our
Thank you. Very nice.
Yeah, our sponsor actually done by Fossil Stuff. Thank you very much for supporting our patrons. Thank you very much. Thanks, Carlos. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Okay.